Well, hello, and welcome back to Real Talk with Marsha. And I absolutely cannot believe that I have restarted. It's season 4, and what a sabbatical I had with my schedule. But I am so excited to be back again. Thank you so much for your support. I have gotten messages. When are we starting back? No time like now. With God in the midst of it, we can all do this together. So, can you imagine it's the end of February? It means that we are hitting in to March, which is going to be the end of the first quarter of 2022. And I have to say for myself, it's been a very bumpy ride. What about you? Tell me, talk to me. Let me see if I can see the comments. Yay! Oh, hey! Oh, faithful ones. Thank you for those of you who are watching via Facebook Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. For my faithful Rock of Gibraltars, I did not even get to send you a notice that I'm really doing it today. And here you are. Yes, we're back. Cheryl, you must ask. We are back. Yeah, I mean, like, it just could not go another Sunday. Yvonne, you know it. Dion literally glimpsed me 30 minutes ago, and I wasn't even ready yet. So, yes, sometimes we have to just step out by faith, knees knocking. Yes, my knees are knocking again. I didn't remember how to post the flyer. I didn't remember how to make the banner. Can you believe that? So it's a reminder that we're also very human. We have to give ourselves grace. But most importantly, we also have to remember when to rise again. So, yes, we are back. The community is back together. Season 4 is now here. And I had to challenge myself with this question, and I felt compelled to really open up and ask you the same question for yourself, right? And it's such an important reminder to us that if we go through each day living it as if tomorrow is guaranteed and postponing and delaying, are we really doing the things that truly make us come alive? And so I wrote down some notes this evening, not long ago, about this to challenge us, to challenge myself, and to challenge you too. It's been really quite the start of 2022. And I don't believe we should deny any of that. God understands that we're grateful for life, but God also understands that when we face certain challenges, it will hold us back if we don't have the mechanisms to say, I need help. God help me, guide me, direct me, and know when to have helpmates that come alongside you as well. And that's whether it's personally or professionally. And so, my desire today, as we kickstart season 4 of Real Talk, my desire is to put out to each and every one of us this particular exercise that I am compelled to encourage us to do. And I will share the exercise with you, but drop in the chat for me. Let me see your comment about what you missed the most about Real Talk. What did you miss the most about Real Talk? Did you miss Real Talk? Tell me what you missed the most. I want to hear from you. At least drop it in the chat so that I can see exactly what you missed. I will tell you, if I could type fast enough, I will tell you that I missed our connection. I missed the spirit of the community. I missed our engagement. And I missed learning from others who have charted the course and my mission for this season of Real Talk and beyond, which is a big part of the mission. You are new? Welcome. It just says Facebook user, welcome. I would love to call you by name, but I'm so happy that you're here. And so let me tell you what Real Talk is all about. For those of you who are new, who will catch this as a replay, if you're going to watch this as a replay, I would love for you to type in the YouTube comment replay. But Real Talk is a space that I believe we are meant to engage, encourage, and empower one another. I truly believe that the mission is to ensure that we transform our lives to one of purpose, passion, and prosperity. And so for each episode of Real Talk, the real mission is to ensure that we can walk away at least with a nugget to put us on that path to live a life of purpose, to ensure that we are fulfilling this purpose and passion and having prosperity. And prosperity is going to be unique to each person. But what's important is that we must understand that it is God's desire for us to really live this fulfilled life. And it is supposed to be fulfilling because we have love, we have joy, we have peace, we have kindness, we have goodness, we have gentleness, we have self-control. And that we are meant to have impact and influence. And we should not downplay that we ought to also have income. Because when we have income, it heightens our ability to also influence by being a blessing to others who need us, as well as investing in ourselves and investing in others. So, yeah, every Sunday felt like I should be doing something at 6 o'clock. Yeah, we're back on it now. I'm so happy to hear that. Dion, you said ditto about the sense of community and the sense of togetherness. Thank you so much. Yvonne, I know that you have shared with me in your messages that, you have missed Real Talk. So it's time for you to start blocking back your Sundays. This was like a long holiday break for you. And so I know that your Sunday time was taken up doing everything else, but I'm going to ask you to carve it back for me. Hi, Rachel. I am so glad that you are here. Block your calendar, put your alarm on, because we want all of us to come together and truly live a life that is so much more fulfilling than just a life that is existing. And all of us can check off the boxes, if you know that you are ready to live a more fulfilled life. I believe that this is what Real Talk is all about. And this is what today's topic is all about. So, straight talk. You know the famous saying, do what sets your soul on fire. And I believe that sometimes when we say that, we think only of the things that set our soul on fire in a personal way. Like we think of only the fun things and it's so temporary. But what if we were to challenge ourselves and remind ourselves that I believe we are meant to have our souls on fire in each category of our life? If we want to compartmentalize it, we can say we want to have our souls on fire personally, professionally, with the people that are a part of our space. And I honestly believe that it is time for us to peel back and ask ourselves, what are some of the things that excite us? Don't overthink it. I wrote down some of the notes for myself and I said, probably one of the easiest things to do is to ask you, as I have asked myself, if you were going to break it down, think of the things that give you these positive emotions. If you have a notebook, write it down, because beyond this episode, I'm going to encourage you to do this as an assignment. So write down some emotions that you think of that come to mind when you think of things that excite you. Maybe it's spending time with your family. And if that excites you, what comes to mind? Is it joy? Is it fun? Is it that you have deep conversations? Is it about making the memories and the moments count? Creativity, possibility. What are some of the adjectives that come to mind when you think of positive emotions? The reverse is true. When you think of negative emotions, engagements with certain people or places or things. Some of those negative emotions could be anxiety, stress, trauma, negativity, toxicity. Begin to list some of them that come to mind, positive ones and negative ones, and drop that so that I can see that. Because you see, at the end of the day, it should not be that our lives are designed to only have the fulfillment, the joy, the excitement, the zest, and the zeal in one bucket of life while we neglect another. So it can't be that publicly you might have that look, but privately you have the opposite. So I want us to peel back the layers and ask ourselves, when I think of an ideal day, I'm not asking about a month, I'm not talking about a year. If you think of an ideal day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed at night, what does an ideal day look like to you? Think about it. Write it down. So write that down for yourself as something that you want to be able to dissect, because when you think of that ideal day, a part of it then needs to say, within that ideal day, if I was doing something that is to fulfill my excitement, my joy, my sense of purpose, what is that? Draw a line so that you can fill in the blank. What would you wake up and be excited to do? Even if you're doing it afraid. But what would that be? Would you want to be planning trips for people? Would you want to be planning travel? Would you want to be designing houses? Would you want to be leading people? Would you want to be talking? Would you want to be singing? Would you want to be creating spaces of enjoyment for others? Would you want to be taking care of molding the youth? Would you want to be with the elderly? What a part of that day, what would you want to be doing? Who would you want to spend the time with? That bucket of who. So what would you want to be doing? Who do you see a part of this ideal day? Where do you see this ideal setting? How will you make it fulfilling and exciting for you? Maybe you want to be into fitness. Maybe you want to coach people. Maybe it is about food. Do you want to eat the food? Do you want to make the food? Is that a part of your excitement? And when you map that out, I want you to write down two things. It's not an unfamiliar question. Type this in there for me for someone who can. What would you do if you knew you would not fail? That question has been asked so many times. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? And that which puts a spark inside of you, even if it is as big as, I want to be an astronaut. I'm not asking you what it's going to take, how much it's going to cost. Not asking any of that. I'm just asking you, what would you do if you knew you would not fail? And then my next question, the other question, once you've answered what will you do if you know that you would not fail, what steps do you need to take to get closer to doing that thing? Because you see, if you answer question 1 and you have written that down, you understand fully that that thing which you say you would do it if you know you wouldn't fail, you know full well that that makes you come alive. So, for example, if someone really loves music, if someone really loves instruments, if someone is in love with what it takes to hear the melody come together, if someone likes to see the youth playing instruments and they're able to identify that they see themselves as a part of that blueprint, and they would rise each morning with the excitement to do that, you know that they would come alive doing that. That is one thing that they definitely have the ability to do if they know they wouldn't fail. And sometimes the only reason why these steps aren't taken is simply because fear holds us back, or we minimize the gift of what excites us. We minimize the things that make us come alive, thinking, oh, that's not a big deal. I just love to do that. But I believe today is a good day to really ponder. When you think about your ideal day, when you think about what makes you come alive, when you think about what you would do if you knew you would not fail, then plot out just 3 steps. What are the steps that you need to do to get closer to that goal? So let's talk about some of those steps. Some of those steps could be 1, coming to grips with, you know what? Time is of the essence. Each day that you delay doing this thing that makes you come alive, time is slipping by and you will never get it back. So because time is of the essence, the first thing to do is to identify that fear which is holding me back. What is it and why? Because once we identify what it is, so fear has so many tentacles, and we've spoken about this numerous of times. But fear has a lot of tentacles. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of lack of resources, fear of support. What are those things? What are those, if you can pinpoint one thing that you know, yes, that you're minimizing your gifts, but you know full well you have it, but you are holding back because you have fear that is crippling you from taking that first step. Fear of getting it perfect. Fear of it being flawed. Fear of, will I get it right? Which comes back to the issue of perfection. Doubt. Limiting beliefs. So until we identify what's holding us back, the other issue is, what are the excuses that we're making to prohibit us from doing that thing that sets our soul on fire? So it could very well be that we assess that we need help, and team no excuses mean, okay, what is it that you know you want to do? What is holding you back? And what are the excuses that you're making? Excuses, I don't have enough time. 24 hours in the day. What will it take to take 30 minutes out of the day to get you closer to what you desire to do? Maybe it's starting small. So here is what I believe is very important. We now are, picture that you have written up tables, and your tables include at the very top, remembering what is it that you're going to do that's going to make you come alive? What excites you? Your other column, what are the steps that you need to take to get closer to that? Since you're not there and since you haven't begun it, identify what is that fear that's holding you back? What gifts do you have that you are minimizing? Then ask candidly, what are the excuses that you are making? Because you see, until we come to grips with that, this is something I battle with personally. And so until we confront the things that we battle with, we will always push it under the carpet. What is it that you need to confront? So today, your other column is that it could very well be something that you need to achieve personally. It could be something you need to achieve professionally. It could be something that you need to achieve with the people that you have within your life. But no matter what, it is time that you identify the things or the thing that makes you feel most alive. So, if we're honest with ourselves and we put them in those buckets, then it is now time for us to have the real talk. So, with me, I know that there are areas that I want to work on. I want to be doing a lot more of this kind of engagement. And I want to be able to do it in a space where all of us as women can come together and really engage, encourage, and empower one another. And not limit myself into thinking that I need all of the things to be put in place to make it happen. So why don't I just take that first step? Why is it that, if we're those of us who are here, perhaps we will gather together, and even if it is an audience of 5 of us, let us do it so that we can fulfill our mission. We can really ensure that we have the right mindset, that we are on a move with the mindset to take action. So I am using myself as an example of knowing that I have not begun to fulfill a half of the potential that I know that I have. And I would ask you too, are there things that you know that excite you, that make you come alive, that you know you want to do, but you have in fact held yourself back because of fear? And what would it take to say to yourself, by the beginning of the second quarter, I must be able to take steps to get myself closer to the thing that excites me? Make a note of it. Identify the things that make you come alive. Absolutely. So what is it? And I want you where you are to write that down now. What is one thing that you believe you need to be able to do, even if you're doing it uncomfortably, but just one thing that you know you need to do to get you that much closer to doing the thing that makes you come alive? Let's talk about coming alive and filling up your tank with things that excite you for your downtime. Because if our minds and our body and our soul just keep going and going and going, and if we don't stop to refuel ourselves, then it also means coming alive becomes less likely because you are going to be burnt out. I know what it feels like, and I know you do too. So if you were to identify within your ideal day, what does self-care look like to you? Is it waking up, grabbing a book, staying in longer, taking a nap, going to the beach, walking in the park? What does it look like to you? Because when you begin to paint your ideal picture, that comes back to feeding how you get excited. Because a big part of the excitement is putting your body or categorizing, I'm taking care of my mind, my body, and my soul. How do I come alive in my mind? How do I come alive in my soul? How do I come alive in my body? How does self-care help to furnish this? Because we can move mountains when we are feeling fulfilled, can't we? I believe that we can cut obstacles out of our way when we feel this sense of satisfaction and direction and guidance. And we will never have the GPS well mapped out. Sometimes we will involve rerouting. But if God has given you something that has set your soul on fire, and if self-care is a part of your strict routine, I do believe that the mission, the purpose, and the plan for yourself and your life and the impact on others will become so much clearer. So in your downtime, what makes you come alive? What does self-care look like to you? And once you begin to define that, it could be devotion time, it could be writing in your journal. But is it that we're getting ourselves so busy, so preoccupied with what we do on a day-to-day basis that we are forgetting the mission of living? So there's this book that I have had for a long time, and I decided to pick it back up, and it's 1 Month to Live. And in this book, it talks about a life of no regrets. And within it, it really speaks of identifying what are some of those things that we have postponed doing because we're waiting on the right time. And what are some of the things that we know we ought to do that would make us come alive, but we don't feel like we have the resources, we don't have the right people, or we don't have the right amount of money, and we don't have enough time, or we're just not living in the right place to make it happen. But a big part of it is thawing out your frozen dreams. Thawing out your frozen dreams. Because some of our dreams, we have literally made it freeze because we believe, I can't do that right now. And maybe no more than ever is when you ought to be doing that thing. So the mission is to live, and to live now, and to live as best as we can with God as our guide without regret. And it doesn't mean that we're going to have life perfect. It also could mean that a part of the things that make you come alive, it could very well be something that is charitable, something that you give your time for, because It's near and dear to you. What makes you come alive doesn't necessarily mean it's something that is your income earner right now, but perhaps it can become your income earner if that is something that is a part of the mission and vision for your life. What makes you come alive could include making sure you are fulfilling within that wholesome nature of how you live and that self-care and taking care of mind, body, and soul. Where does fitness fall? Where does food fall? Where does finance fall? Where does faith fall? Where does family and friends? Those buckets are so important to me, but you will know what's important to you, because coming alive also means honoring your values. And if you feel any form of misalignment anywhere, it's because you are not being true to you. You're not being true to yourself. And you may be doing things to make others feel comfortable. You may be doing things that are just what's the norm for you. In other words, this is how I've always done it and I'll continue. You may be doing things because in your mind you're thinking it's too late. Or you may be doing things because for a peaceful life, I'm just going to stick with what I know. Remember the emotions we spoke of. Coming alive should bring joy, excitement, peace, fulfillment, that whole inspiration, that whole engagement. All of that is a part of what makes you come alive. There's another chapter that speaks to resolving conflicts. And resolving conflicts can be with yourself or with others, because unless you have resolution with things that you have been carrying, coming alive is only possible when we choose to let things go. And that's something that I have learned and I continue to learn. So if coming alive for you means being free to do and to be, name it, claim it, own it, and do it. If coming alive means being free, name the thing, own the thing, do the thing, and be the thing. Whatever that is, that's what you ought to do. Because, yes, I tell you, I love this. I love this tribe. Your gift of being able to button it all together, Cheryl, is so invaluable. Yeah. Know what buckets in your life you definitely want to be able to fulfill. Know your values: family, faith, fitness, finance, food. You know, food has to be in there when it comes on to me. And fun. Fun. Did I say that? Because fun does not have to cost a lot. Fun could really be taking that walk, taking that drive, having that scoop of ice cream, laughing, reading, being with the right set of people that bring that out in you. So here's what I believe needs to happen for us. And I wrote some of these points down because it's so easy for us to talk and connect and not necessarily take the next most important step, which is action. I believe it's really important that in your conversation with self, and we understand that there is the need to fill these columns out. When you ask yourself, what will it take to come alive? What excites your soul? I do believe that you want to be able to picture this ideal scenario that I have spoken of and fill in the who, the what, the when, the where, the how. If you're living this life on purpose, doing the things that excite you, doing the things that make you feel fulfilled, write down who, what, when, where, how. Who do I see as a part of my experience about coming alive? Who is your audience? Who are you serving? Who do you believe you're called to serve? Who do you believe you need to be in alignment with? Who? What? What do you see yourself doing? And what will it take for you to do that thing? I'm reinforcing. Who, what, when? When will you take action to get one step closer to making this aspect of your life come alive? Then where? Where will all of this manifest? Where will all of this come together? Where will all of this happen? Hey, Talia, welcome. Where will all of this happen? For those of you who are just joining us and coming into this space, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to Real Talk. Season 4 is back. We're talking about doing the thing that makes you come alive, doing what excites you, doing what sets your soul on fire. And so, who, what, when, where, how? All of these open-ended questions, I'm encouraging you to ask yourself, because at the end of it all, I want you to picture your life as a movie now, and imagine, if you will, that God has said to you, there are no limits. I've given you the vision. I have given you everything. Don't be concerned about resources. All of that will be provided. Picture your movie starting today onwards. I'm not taking you back to childhood. I'm not taking you back to any stories of your past. Today, if you could write the script and watch the movie of your life unfold starting today and beyond, what are you doing to create impact? What are you doing to have influence? What are you doing to ensure that you are living a fulfilled life with no regrets? How do you see it? Is the value of freedom important to you? It's important to me. I want the freedom to be able to use my time and my resources and to navigate through life and spaces and places at my pace. So as you see this movie of your life that starts today, and you're able to put in the different scenes, what does it look like? Assume that you have said, God, all right, it's me and you. I am blocking out the noise of everyone else. It's me and you. What are you doing? What is it going to take to get there? Where is your voice being heard? What action are you taking? Are you drawing? Are you painting? Are you coaching? Are you guiding? Are you leading? Are you planning? Are you organizing? Are you controlling? What are you filling your tank with? Are you resting? Are you reading? Are you reviving? Are you restoring? What are you doing? And know that within that same movie, as the scenes may change, the only constant that will remain is you and God. That's it. So things may happen around you, things may happen to you, but the only constant is you and God. What's your posture for this movie? Listen, it is a movie that's one of a kind because you're in it. And there's only one you. So I believe today is a day to name it. Name it. Write that down as a part of an exercise. If you were going to name it, what would you name it? I'm going to tell you the name of my movie. The name of my movie would be Own Your Greatness. Overcome your limits and own your greatness and purpose. That's the name of my movie. Overcome your limits. Because my movie is going to be about the things that I have had to battle with, work on, overcome, still overcoming. But deep down, I already know that greatness is within me. But I will not be able to own it unless I overcome those limits. What's the name of your movie? Ask yourself and give it a title. Because our life is really meant to be lived in Technicolor. So, determine what colors you're going to splash against this amazing motion picture. And at no point in this movie is it saying that you're going to have a perfect life. At no point is it going to say that there are no obstacles that you're going to face. At no point in the movie will it say that you are not going to have doubt, fear, anxiety, concerns that will challenge you. But in the same movie, you are going to be able to talk about self-awareness, self-love, confidence, courage, conviction, right? You'll talk about how you fall down and you get back up again. What sports are you doing? What activities are you doing in that movie? Who else are you carrying along with you? Who is in that with you as you go along? Because your life is meant for impact and for influence and for inspiration. That's your life. Never for a moment believe that we need to be on a major Hollywood screen. You are a walking movie. That's what you are. Never for a moment think that the lights on your life has to be so bright that unless you are on this megaphone on a mega stage. Today, I'm here to remind you that when you do what excites you, when you do what makes you come alive, when you do what sets your soul on fire, when you choose to really live a life of purpose, passion, and prosperity, when you make that choice, remember that whatever comes naturally to you to do, you do that with the mission to create impact, influence, and be an inspiration. No matter how small or large your circle can be, you have the power to change one. And when you change one, think about it as the ripple effect of tossing a pebble in the ocean. And that one has the ability to change so many others. So today, rise up, take your stance, do the assignment, write the things down that come to you, that you know excites you, that makes you come alive, that makes you feel fulfilled. If you are battling with feeling unfulfilled, get to the root of that. Ask yourself why. What is it that you're doing that really makes you feel unfulfilled? And ask yourself, what do you need to change? Yes. So do what makes you come alive. The replay will be available. But remind yourself today that you have no business living in reverse. Today is that new day. The things we know we wanted to start at the beginning of the year and we have not started yet, guess what? God is good. We're here. And we definitely have the ability and the impact to start again. And yes, you have the mission and the power to influence one person, one. And when you can impact the life of one, I say this every time, if you choose to do your purpose-driven assignment, if you choose to make a difference, the impact of one and the ripple effect of that has the ability to change that one individual, that has the ability to change a household, that has the ability to change a community, a city, a nation, and the world. You have that power. So don't sleep on it any longer. You know that there is more inside of you, just like I know that there's more inside of me to be fulfilled. Let's lift the confines from our mind and step into and own the greatness that we know we have and stop putting a lid on it. Let's do what makes us come alive. I hope that today you have been blessed. I hope that today's session, the restart of season 4, has allowed you some time of reflection. I know I have reflected, and I know I needed this word for myself as much as I've shared it, so it's preaching aloud. But here is what I would like us to do. We owe it to ourselves to do that assignment. Let us consider this ensuring that we live a life with no regrets. Not just about the things we want to fulfill personally, but think about those things that your purpose is assigned to. And do what makes you come alive. Get excited again. It's time to get excited again. And today is a good day to start. So to you, for sure, someone is waiting you to start. Well, listen, there's no question about it that we are stronger together. I hold on to that, and we need one another. Let's never downplay. A big part of our struggle is not knowing to call for help, and also not knowing to invest in help, and also not knowing to tap into resources that are available to us. I say this once and I'll be the broken record. God has already called you, and He will equip you. We don't need validation from anyone. God has called you to it. He will absolutely equip you. So, on that note, do what excites you. Promise me faithfully that now that season 4 has begun, I would love it for you to put your notifications on. I definitely encourage you to subscribe and share this as well. It's time for us to take that when we grow individually, we want others to grow with us. There is no growth when we grow as individuals without sharing the growth with others. We are those who really want to ensure that Real Talk's mission is achieved, and all of us agree to be engaged, encouraged, and empowered. And the mission is to ensure that we live a life of purpose, passion, and prosperity. So, for this episode and all future episodes, I want us to ensure we overcome our limits, own our greatness and purpose. To you, I say, be blessed. Now, share with me some of the takeaways. Type it in. Encourage me. You know how much courage it took to start again? Listen, you wouldn't know. Knees were a knocking. But I'm so glad I did, because this has excited me and I'm alive again. I feel excited again. And sometimes we just have to do that one thing. Just that one thing. Do it, and do it afraid. It's all right. Doing it afraid, but doing what makes you come alive makes the biggest difference. So, what have you gained from today? So glad I'm back. I'm so glad to be back. I really, really am. I really want to be able to do a quick recap and make sure that everyone does the assignment, what they need to do. My goodness, I even forgot that I could use this feature. Oh, look. So write the steps down. Remember what you need to do. What steps do you need to take, right? To get closer to your goals. Yes, moving forward. This is my scribes. Here is fear holding you back. This is for those of you who didn't get a chance to catch us in the beginning. Are you minimizing your gifts? Let me see your hand go up. Identifying the fear that's holding you back, and most importantly, why? What's the problem? Is it fear of judgment? Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of success? Is it fear of being committed? We're one decision away, right? What are the excuses that you're making from that thing which you know you are called to do? And you want to definitely identify the thing that makes you come most alive. CCP, thank you so much for doing this. And catch the replay and catch the notes as well. Don't, in your downtime, identify what makes you come alive as well. What are the things that's the self-care that you need to do? Don't forget your mission is to live and live without regret, right? So those are some of the very, very salient points. What does coming alive mean to you? You need to name it, you need to own it, you need to do it, and you need to be it. So see yourself in your movie as a walking brand. And what is your brand saying about you? To yourself first. The man in the mirror is always most important. But yeah, it's really very important. And know that you want to be able to have a fulfilled life. And in doing that, write down the core things that are so very important. And lastly, what are you doing to create impact and influence and inspiration to ensure that you are living this fulfilled life? So, thank you for joining for another episode of Real Talk. This is season 4, and here is looking to us, really making sure that this season of our life, this quarter, and we're finishing up this quarter strong, we're also going to ensure that we begin Q2 strong. And yes, I did it. We did it. Happy to be back. Thanks for turning on your notification. I really value that. Not looking back and moving ahead. And I can't thank you enough for your support. Another classic case of doing it afraid. Never for a moment believe that folks that you see doing their thing, that they do not have knee knocking moments and that they don't have their fair share of fear. Trust me. I can tell you my knees were knocking tonight before I started, wanting to remember exactly what buttons I was pressing, what exactly was I supposed to be sharing. And I really pray that this blessed you as much as it blessed me rejoining you like this. A real act of courage on my part to step right back in the game, knowing it is time to do the thing. So, on that note, I pray that you have a beautiful and a blessed week. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Our I ams after today, season 4 and beyond. I am a woman of greatness and purpose. That's it. Because the things that we begin to declare over our lives are the things that we will begin to manifest by our actions. So, whatever God has called you to do, if we're not doing it, you know it's an act of disobedience. So, let's step up to the plate, do what excites us, ensure that we're living this fulfilled life, and as always, be blessed. Take care. Until next Sunday, thank you so much for joining. We did it. Thank you so very much. God's richest blessings to you.